Hey, howdy, hey, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14, Episode 4. So if that sounds good to you, make sure to hit that like button, comment down below, and come join the Sandwich Hour community. And without further ado, let's get this video started. Alright. So, I believe it is time to start the Amateur Hour review. So let's get into it. Obviously, this episode is going to start out with the queens walking back into the workroom after the elimination of June Jambalaya, and they're obviously very sad to see June go. She was the first official elimination, so it's of course sad to see her go, but hopefully, we'll see her back someday. Anyways. So they're reading her message, doing all the things, and then starting to get out of drag. There's not too much that happens, honestly, during this part. There's some stuff that happens the next day that we'll get into, so I kind of just want to skip ahead to that, if that's cool. Obviously, the next day starts out with queens getting back into the workroom, and then there's some drama going on between Jasmine and Cornbread, because Jasmine has a tendency to cut people off when she is talking. To be trying to have a conversation with people, and then as soon as someone pauses for 1 second, she'll cut in. And I feel like this is, again, my own perspective, I feel like this is definitely her being a younger person, and it's definitely that showing. And I think that's somewhat where some of her conflicts are arising from, because she doesn't necessarily have the I don't want to say social skills, but have the awareness, yes. Doesn't have the awareness yet of when it is her time to talk and when she needs to listen. And that's something a lot of people struggle with, obviously. But it is very much so a younger queen, younger person, whatever you want to say, issue that you can kind of tell from her. So, that happens. And then RuPaul comes in and introduces the Maxi challenge, where the queens are going to have to put together super teasers to advertise for season 14. And if you noticed, some of the clips that they actually created from the super teaser challenge, they put into the teasers for season 14, which is actually kind of cute. I really enjoyed that. But now I'm going to go ahead and go through the teams that they picked. Obviously, the Willow Pill, because she won last week, gets to pick her team, and then Maddie Morphosis gets to be a team captain because Maddie won their lip sync. Sure. So these are the teams, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. Willow's team is going to consist of Willow Pill, Cornbread, Bosco, Carrie Colby, Georges, and then Maddie's team is Maddie, Deja, Daya, Angie, Alyssa, and Orion Story. Orion Story. And then we have Jasmine left, and Jasmine gets to pick her own team, and Jasmine chooses to join Willow's team because she said she hasn't worked with them, and she thinks it will be a good opportunity to work with them and show them what she can do, and show them that she's not so much of what Cornbread thinks she is, I guess. Is the way Jasmine is looking at it, is the way I see it at least. But that happens. And then they're gonna start writing their scripts, writing their stories, all the above. Again, this is an improv challenge, but it seems like acting improv sort of combo thing. So it was an interesting challenge, because I feel like Drag Race does this thing where they try to be meta within their own show, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And I think this was one of the times that it was a bit of a stretch for me, at least. They did the same sort of thing in season 13, if you remember the acting challenge, the top 5 acting challenge, where they were shrunken down drag queens in the workroom. They kind of did the same thing, sort of thing, where it's like, oh, we're recording skits in the workroom to represent shorts for the season to advertise. I'm like, I'm not a big fan of when they record scenes in the workroom because I feel like it's a little bit boring. And I I like this one. I like the challenge more than I did others, but it feels a little bit of a... But when it comes to the writing, we'll go and get into it. When it comes to Willow's team, Willow says, oh, I've done improv, I'm in Denver, I'm very much comfortable with this stuff, and I'm like, great to hear, and Willow does a great job too. We'll get to that later. But right away there's some, not drama, but there's a challenge between Cornbread and Jasmine, because Jasmine's trying to, it's complicated, because Jasmine's trying to, like, take a step back, while at the same time almost trying too hard. And I feel like Jasmine does this a lot from the show, at least from my perspective. She tries really hard, and I feel like sometimes that doesn't come across the best way that it can. And I think that's sort of the problem she struggles with when it comes to interacting with some of the other queens. Because it seems like many other queens are getting annoyed with Jasmine. Because Jasmine, like I said, is kind of trying really hard and trying her best to be liked. And I feel like that's sort of the problem we get to with her, where she wants to be liked so bad that it kind of comes off as being a bit annoying. Like I was saying earlier, it's just something she needs to work on. And I think Cornbread was trying to help her out there and trying to give her some advice, if you will. And I think that led to some frustration between the two, and I think that was sort of the conflict of this episode, the storyline that they were producing, obviously. But that was that group. And then we get to the other group, which is obviously led by Maddie. Everyone seems pretty comfortable in this group. Alyssa is not super comfortable, because obviously not super comfortable acting. We'll just stick with that. She's very much a pageant queen. Well, Angie is too. Angie is also kind of nervous because she doesn't act either. And I feel like you can either embrace that or let that take over, if that makes sense. And I feel like Alyssa kind of let that took over her, whereas Angie embraced it and really went with it and just kind of let go and just really enjoyed the moment, which is something you really see with her in this entire episode. She really is in the moment and really just doing her best, and I love Angie for that. Angie is an amazing queen. So they do the whole script writing, and then we get to the recording part, where they're recording with Michelle and Carson. They show bits and pieces from each group. There's not too much that they show. I do want to say, I feel like how do I put this? I didn't necessarily like the way they were critiquing Cornbread as opposed to the other queens. Again, maybe that's just me. Maybe I am a little bit biased towards Cornbread. But I feel like they weren't necessarily giving her the same sort of critiques that they would other queens. If that makes sense. All I'm going to say there. Again, maybe not my place to say this. But it did feel a little harsher on Cornbread compared to the other queens. So they record their scenes, do all the things. They obviously record in, like, partial drag. It was an interesting recording session because I feel like, again, obviously they can't show everything in the recording part because then you won't really get to see much that you didn't see before when it comes to the actual scenes or whatever. But I was left confused. I'll leave it there. Yeah, I was left confused. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I can say. Yeah, I don't know. Then we get to the next day in the workroom where it's elimination day. They're all getting into drags, doing the thing. There's one moment I want to talk about with Alyssa, where Alyssa was talking about her father, and I was getting prepared for some trauma talk, because I feel like that's something we get almost every episode. And then we found out that Alyssa's father actually came out to her at the same time. They both came out as gay to each other. And I thought that was just a really special moment to share on the show. And I enjoy it when they have these moments that aren't necessarily trauma, because it feels better. I like seeing happiness. I get a little bit tired of the trauma talk that we get in the show. Let me know what you think. So they're getting all their beats together, if you will. And then, oh, guess who shows up on the screen? It's J-Lo. J-Lo makes her appearance, because obviously this week's Runway is Night of 1,000 J-Los. So J-Lo makes her appearance. It's obviously a pre-recorded video of her talking to the queens. It was a cute moment. I do wish J-Lo was actually there as the guest judge. Or at least showed up in the actual workroom. Because I feel like the recorded messages never really work as well as they want them to. So, again, just let me know what you think down below. But, that happens. Let's go ahead and get to the runway and the scenes. So, for the runway, obviously, it's a night of 1,000 J-Los. Kind of, you get the drill. We've done Night of 1,000 Madonnas, Night of 1,000, Michelle Visages, sort of thing. For the runway, overall, I was entertained by it. There were a few standouts for me. Angie, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You look stunning. I love this look on her. I love her mug. She knows how to put a look together, and I feel like she knows how to style very, very, very well. And this was excellent. This was one of my favorite looks of the night. Like, if not my favorite look. I thought she looked gorgeous. I loved the breastplate on her. She just looks stunning. Like, I'm obsessed with Angie. I also really enjoyed Carrie Colby's look. This was actually the look that J-Lo wore, which was really a gag moment for her to wear the actual look on the runway. It was really cool. The one thing I will say about Carrie's look, the one thing she suffered from was, I don't know if you remember in All-Star 6 for the tropical runway, a lot of queens wore a similar, basically the same look. But this was the actual look, so I will give her that was really a gag for that. Because if you are going to do the look, it's nice to see the actual look on the runway, as opposed to someone trying to recreate it. Let me know what you think down below. But yeah, no, those were two of my favorite looks. The rest of the looks were fine. I can do a more in-depth fashion review if you'd like. Please let me know down below in the comment section. But, now we're gonna get to the scenes. The scenes were fine. I was kind of bored, if I'm being real with you guys. Because, like, they're funny, but it's the humor that I feel like Drag Race does too much of, and it gets a little bit stale. And I think this challenge was a little bit stale for me. Again, I really enjoyed this season. I love the queens. The challenge was just a little bit stale, and I feel bad complaining, because I love the show, obviously, but I want more for this show, if that makes sense. I want them to do even more fun new things, and I feel like this was a bit stale for a challenge. So let me know what you thought down below. But overall, it's an okay challenge. I wanted more. I wanted something different. Yeah, I wanted something different. Excuse me. So the safe queens this week are going to be Lady Camden, Bosco, Jasmine Kennedy, Maddie Morphosis, Dia Betty, and Orion Story. So, that means that the safe tops and bottoms are going to, well, the tops, we're going through the tops now. The tops this week are going to be Willow Pill, Deja Sky, and Angeria Paris Van Michaels, aka Angie. And then the bottom three this week are going to be Cornbread, Carrie, and Alyssa. For me, I would not have put Cornbread in the bottom. I might have put another queen. I don't know which one, but I would not have put Cornbread. Again, maybe I'm a bit biased towards Cornbread, but for me, I would not have put Cornbread in the bottom. So, obviously in the end, the winner this week is going to be Angeria Paris Van Michaels. So congratulations to Angie on getting her second challenge win. She is making it very clear that she's a front runner and not one to mess with this season, and I'm so excited for her. I love Angeria. I'm so excited for her. Like, such a good queen. Such a sweet queen, and just, such a good queen. So that means Willow Pill and Deja Sky are safe. And then the bottom two are going to be Alyssa and Carrie. So obviously in the end, Cornbread is saved, and then the bottom two is going to be Alyssa and Carrie. There is one more thing I did want to talk about with Cornbread. They were talking about her sharing her vulnerability and on stage. And I'm like, I appreciate that. But at the same time, RuPaul and none of the judges are psychologists. This is not their place to really push people to this, if this makes sense. It's not really their place to open up all this trauma for television and then kind of just let the queens go, if that makes sense. I don't like it when they do this. I get it, it's TV, I understand, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I don't like it. I don't like it very much. It feels very much I don't want to say manipulative, but a little bit manipulative, and I'm not crazy about that. So, anyways, in the end, the bottom two are Alyssa and Carrie, and obviously, in the end, they do lip sync to Play by J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, of course. And in the end, the winner this week is going to be Carrie Colby from the lip sync, so that does mean Alyssa Hunter did have to sashay away. However, before she leaves, RuPaul says, "Reveal your chocolate! Do you have the gold bar? Ooh. Are we gonna do this every week? Because it feels like, it feels goofy. It feels silly. And it feels really silly." But Alyssa reveals her chocolate bar and, wah wah, it's chocolate. So I guess that means Alyssa's gone. Sure. So Alyssa Hunter is the second out. Again, I'm sad to see Alyssa go. I really wanted her to be able to go further in this competition because she's a gorgeous queen. However, I would have been also really sad if Carrie went. So, in the end, obviously, we are now at a top 12, I believe. So, that's super exciting. I don't know what's... Next week, they are doing an acting challenge where they're bringing back early eliminated queens, including Tempest DeJour, Kamora Hall, and James Mansfield. I'm so excited to see James Mansfield. I'm obsessed with James Mansfield. But that does bring the end of my video. Let me know what you think about this episode down below in the comment section. Make sure to like this video, share it on social media, get this channel growing even more, hit that subscribe button, come join the Sandwich Hour community. And until next time, oh wait, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Sandwich Hour. And until next time, see you later.